for yesterday, but it should be going live now.
Cool.
Doug, you want to check the
broadcast?
And mute. Remember to mute. It says we're live for 17 seconds. If anyone's out there, Marlowe, all your fans.
Yep, we're live.
Okay, great. Okay, Doug, are you gonna? So since we're live, I've got record going. You at any time you may do an intro if you please.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I've got to mute the video instance of it here because that's aggravating.
That's not good.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, Stuart, Yoshida, and the OokTown Podcast coming to you live from somewhere in Fort Collins, Colorado. And it's time for the OokTown Podcast.
Yay! Doug, thank you so much. That's my co-host, Doug Brown, who has been with us from the beginning. Wow. Welcome, listeners, patrons, everyone. So great to have you. I am excited to bring on a guest that we've had on before. Let us, without further ado, bring on Marlowe. So a little backstory here. We're just about to go live, and I get a text from Marlowe that says, "I can't believe it. I was just going to join the podcast and the power went out." And I'm like, "Oh, sure it did." You just don't want to be on our show.
No, I was looking forward to it. Yeah, I clicked on the link and it was almost simultaneously my lamp started flickering and went out, and then I looked up and my Wi-Fi was kind of dancing around, and I texted my roommate and I was like, "Am I crazy? Or the power just go?" He's like, "Yeah, no, the power just went completely out," and it came back on. Thank goodness. I have no clue what happened there, but that's my luck.
Well, that's just because it's a high-powered podcast. So
yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Well, you're out in LA now. Is that right?
Yes, I'm in LA. Yes.
Wow, just down the road from Six Flags Magic Mountain, because Doug, his brother, lives up in that area. So wow, SoCal.
Yes, and we and I have a review of for this episode. I have a review of Six Flags Magic Mountain, but you're going to have to wait just a little while before that's
really?
We're teasing that for later in the episode.
Yes, so people will stick around.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, have you been to Six Flags Magic Mountain yet, Marlowe?
I have not. I just went to Disneyland for the first time a month or two ago. Yeah.
Way. That was your first time?
To Disneyland.
You've been to Disney World though?
I've been to Disney World a handful of times, and I love it. So it was cool to experience Disneyland, which is obviously a much smaller scale. But I really liked California Adventure Park with the Cars Land, and I'm an Avengers fan, so the Avengers campus was cool to see. Yeah! So yeah, it was cool. It was awesome.
Did you get over to the Star Wars?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the ride, but there was one specific. They were both great, but there was one specifically where it was how. I can't even tell people about it because you just have to go experience it because it was shocking. I don't know how they pulled it off, but it's an amazing ride. So yes, no. And
was it the Millennium Falcon one, or was it the one after the?
It was the one after, because the Millennium Falcon one was the interactive game, right? That was fun to feel like you were in it. But the other one, which was a fully immersed experience, both were, but they were both amazing. I am a Star Wars fan too, so, and I know there's people that are much more Star Wars fans than me. Gotta go. It's super amazing.
This is just so wild. I mean, okay, so first of all, Eddie Van Halen, you knew who he was, and you're into him, and then Avengers and Star Wars. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So
one of the
say,
things that section of Disney, being able to walk into that kind of main plaza there and just really feel like you're no longer on Earth anymore, that it's just so immersive.
Wow.
It's Stuart, you gotta get down there.
All right. Well,
awesome.
it's been a while since I've been to Disneyland. Actually, I used to live right outside. Oh, I used to live in Anaheim
in Disneyland.
I used to live in I used to live in Anaheim, which is obviously right near Disneyland, as people know. Yeah, so we used to go there quite often during the summer when I was working in college. We'd go out and live there, and then and I haven't been back. I don't know if I've been back there since then. Wow.
Come back.
So, we're going to have to start talking about ukulele at some point.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to tease it a little bit more. You used to be based out of Michigan, I swear. Was it? And what?
Yep.
What part?
So I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right. Yeah.
Very Midwest, and my parents now live in kind of the East Lansing area, so right by Michigan State. And that's where I lived from my sophomore year of high school to when I graduated. And then that's when I went to Minnesota. But yeah, from Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did Ben Hassinger find you? Because he brought you to our attention, and that's in fact why you were on the show to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the first episode I did with you guys. I was in my bedroom in East Lansing. But Ben, how did him and I get connected? I feel like because I had heard about Mighty Uke Day, and I feel like I might have reached out to him or something, because I'm definitely that type of person to go out and just reach out and email whoever. And it was kind of when I was entering more of like the professional, I guess, ukulele realm. And
nice.
And then from there, I mean, I owe a lot of like my career and the people that I know and the connections that I have to him, because without that first like festival appearance, I don't know what else would have came about. So Ben is great, and I've been able to go back a handful of times to perform, which I feel very grateful for.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I'm like 99% positive I probably reached out, and that's how we started our relationship.
Very cool. Yeah, Ben's a great guy, and so glad that he brought you to our attention. And the ukulele community is really great. That's one of the nice things about playing ukulele and being on the ukulele festival circuit. So what have you done in terms of ukulele out there in Los Angeles area?
Yeah. I got here about 5 months before the pandemic hit. So very
no.
Yeah. So very like small window of opportunities that I've been able to have so far. But I mean, even before I moved out here, Mitch Chang, who runs the Los Angeles International Ukulele Festival, invited me out.
Very nice.
2018, I believe, because it was like a year before I moved out here officially, and so I went. It was my first time in LA and in Hollywood. So it was a good trip with my mom, and we were like, "Oh, look at the Hollywood sign! This is so crazy!" And now that's I see that every day, which is weird. But,
right.
Yeah. So as far as that,
towards the hills.
Yeah, looking towards the hills, and I also played the year after that. He invited me back. And so, that's kind of the biggest thing that I probably done. I didn't build, but I helped build my custom ukulele through two people that I met.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brothers Ukes. They're great. I met them at that festival, and so I got to be involved in that part. And I've done
tell me about that. You helped build, like, as in, what did you do to help build it?
Well, here, let me grab it.
Yes,
right
please.
Here.
So all of you listeners, you're going to have to, I guess, watch the show if you want to see this.
Okay. Yes. So here it is.
Okay.
I saw
Very
that.
Cool. Oh,
yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. What I did, they pretty much built the entire thing, but I kind of was able to sand down some things and glue some of the support on the inside.
Very cool.
So yeah, I did that like it was probably like a 5 or 6 month project, and so I kind of went over there and picked out the shape and
Okay.
woods and all that good stuff.
Now, like supposedly one of the secrets of ukulele and guitar making in general is the bracing. So you glued some of that on?
Yep. I glued it and I sanded it down, and she plays pretty well, so I think I did a pretty all right job with that.
And where did you get the bracing pattern? Did they have that for you, or did you just kind of wing it? I mean, they might.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, they had Dennis and Ed. They have like a kind of like a laser cutter, if you will. And so they kind of went in and they had all their designs and everything blueprinted out as far as like certain body shapes and the bracing. And so they had all that kind of, Dennis specifically, he used to run workshops to build guitars. And so he brought it lower scale to the ukulele. So he kind of had it already. And when I saw them at the festival, I was just like, I'm interested in these ukes. And they're like, hey, well, you should just like come over and let's kind of work on it together. So it was a really cool experience in a different part of that world that I've always been interested in. And it just made me feel that much more like closer to the instrument, because I really got to watch it go from just an image to little pieces that are now this playable thing. Yeah. Yep.
Now, the other part, of course, which is the part I get scared about, is they have to bend the sides of the ukulele.
That was crazy to watch. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool, though. They have like, little... Yeah, it's
form,
weird.
Usually.
It's a form. Yeah, they have a form and they just put it in and they glue it and they just let it sit there, and I know it's amazing. But
we could ask Aaron Keim next time he's on.
Yeah,
and that's just the weirdest part. I think, I don't know, they get the wood wet or something, and then they put the forms around it and they let it. Yeah, it's just like, what? Are you kidding me?
Pretty amazing.
It is. So that's like a very custom ukulele. It's actually a Marlowe ukulele in part.
Yeah. So it's very cool. I feel very special that I was able to do something like that.
Very cool. And what size ukulele is that?
Tenor. It's a tenor size.
Okay. And then the scale. Do you know the scale length? Because there's all kinds of nerds out there. Probably.
It's about this long.
This long. Yeah. It's like 22 or 24 or something. But it's cool. It goes. It's got this really nice shape all the way up here and little side sound hole.
Oh, you got the beer hole on there, the beer holder.
Yep.
As Craig Shee calls it. Yeah. It's very cool. That I heard that is a fantastic for performing, because then you can really hear what you're playing. Is that true?
Yeah, I've always been like attracted to like sound holes on the side, because you're getting some of that sound like just pushed up directly to you rather than in front of you. So it's a different way of playing. I like both. But I do like it. I like the look of it. I like that I can, for acoustic purposes as well, it's really nice to get that sound kind of pushed up.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's kind of like a built-in monitor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I have to use my amp, my ukulele amp. It's actually not an ukulele amp, but I face it towards me because we were, Doug, before the show, we were talking about mixing or performing with people who aren't necessarily trained mixers. So it's good to have that as a backup. That's very cool. And what's the woods on there? What's the soundboard?
Yeah. So ebony fretboard, koa binding, and that little pick guard, I'll show you again.
Yeah, that little thing at the top there near the upper sound hole.
Yeah. It's it's this little pick guard. I forgot what happened, but it was something with the sound holes, and this wasn't meant to be here originally.
Oh, is that
And
right?
yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, I put it on. I hope that's okay." I was like, "No, it looks really cool. It's like a little
It does.
pick guard, and then yeah, it's a spruce top.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was just having this conversation with Andrew Molina the other night. I love koa. It's really beautiful. It's really warm, but I've always loved like spruce or like a flame maple.
Spruce.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the punch that lighter woods can give.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I like it for my sound personally, and there's definitely a lot of room for koa as well. But it was cool to kind of get to choose, like, man, if I can do a spruce body with like koa bindings to kind of soften that and round it out, that would be pretty sweet. So it's pretty cool.
That's what they did.
Made it happen.
That is really cool how they at that little upper corner there. Is that what is that wood there? Is that koa?
This,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's from
Very cool.
what the piece that they use. But yeah, it's super, super beautiful. It plays well. I have played. I played a little open mic show with it a couple months ago, which was my first time really getting to play live, which was cool because we built this in the middle of the pandemic pretty much. So
it's a Marlowe pandemic ukulele.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, maybe if you want, you can play a tune for us if you have an original you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now?
Oh, whenever you want. We can do a little later, or you can think of something.
Yeah.
And the thing I was going to say is I do love the spruce because that's when my first custom ukulele was made with it's a spruce top, Kiave side, so it's kind of more on the warmer side, but not. So I guess it was all more towards that, like you said, give it some punch, and especially for playing out, it supposedly helps out. I don't know. I didn't get actually all koa ukulele until relatively recently. So,
awesome.
but even then, the one I got was koa aloha, and they have some really punchy koa ukuleles. I was really surprised. It doesn't sound nearly as mellow as you would think. Yeah. Well, very cool. Congratulations on your custom ukulele.
Thank you.
And you're gonna have to tell us the next thing I wanted to talk about ukulele wise was you jammed with some pretty heavy hitters from Hawaii. That was awesome. I saw that Andrew Kitadas. I can't remember his name. John. Why couldn't I remember? John Kitadas. Kitakis. John Kitakis. Sorry, John. I apologize. I met him. Wonderful guy. But he hosted you or something. Tell us about that.
So it was Andrew. He was hosting it. It was set up through him and through Koa Aloha, because I have recently in the new year joined the Koa Aloha family, which is really exciting. So they were kind of able to arrange this, and I went down to Oahu and I met them, and he was like, "Would you like to be on the podcast?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." Like, that's always been kind of like a bucket list dream of mine with my ukulele career, because as I was learning, I learned a lot of songs through their tutorials, and I've just always been like, I've always browsed their website and always just been in their world. And I discovered a lot, like Brittany and Andrew and Chris and everyone, through a lot of their videos. So it's always been a go-to of mine. So when they presented me with that opportunity, it was like, yes, hands down. I was nervous, but
I would guess so.
it was awesome, like, to be able to sit down with them and sit down with Brittany and Clay, who are two people that continue to influence me and my sound and my playing. And we're friends, but like, I still like, I'm so just in awe of like their talents, and how they play and how they write and just how their brains work. So to sit down and have like really meaningful conversations about our 3 different careers and like what we've experienced and where we're all kind of headed now, and was really amazing. And then just be able to jam, like what an honor. So it was really like, it was a full circle moment, because like I said, I watched them and their their podcast episodes and their performances, and then to like me be there in the moment with them was really, really cool experience.
Wow. That sounds like an incredible, I would have been just sweating bullets.
I was sweating bullets. Yeah, for like the full 3 hours that we were there. It was crazy.
So kind of set that up, if you guys can go to the, I'm sure Doug is looking for it now.
So I was going to say, for a link to that playlist that has all 4 of the videos, there is a link in the show notes.
Nice. And the people that Marlowe played with was Brittany Paiva and Kalei Gamiao, and they are just both amazing, stellar performers. Also, just incredible.
Yeah.
And I saw that team up, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was crazy. I knew Andrew, like Kalei was gonna be there, and then Brittany was the last minute where I was like, "Yes!" Like this, like nice. I don't know if this could get any better. This is crazy. Yeah, it was amazing.
This can't get any better.
Yeah, dream come true.
They brought me out here. Yeah,
dream come true. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I grew up on Oahu, by the way, on the Kailua side. I don't know if you visited the windward side. Where did you record that? In Honolulu, or they have Andrew has a shop up north in.
It was up north.
Okay, I bet it was in Honolulu.
That's where we went. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very. If you go to Oahu and you want to just see some of the world-class ukuleles from all over, you go up there. It's isn't it called the ukulele site, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, great people. And when I went up there, I met Andrew, and Kalei was there also.
Yep.
So I got to meet him. Nice guy, awesome. Mm-hmm. And wait a minute, and Craig Chi and Sarah Mizell are back there now.
They are. I didn't get a chance to see them. I was there when they were there, but I didn't get a chance to see. There's quite a few people that I unfortunately missed while I was there. But that just means I have to go back. And what a shame.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it was cool. I was there for like a week, and did a lot. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You mentioned that you talked to them, Kalei and Brittany, about their careers and the direction they're going. What are some of the things you took away from chatting with them?
Yeah, I think, all of them. And I just played a couple songs with Andrew Molina the other night. I think all of them they're always just so like open and encouraging, and really want to like see me, just become that much better, and approach my playing like they're always willing to like stop and teach me all the time, whether that's at NAMM or we were outside the other night or in those moments when we were doing the podcast. I don't know, I just take away like how they think about their playing, and like really chord choices, I think, is the big one that sticks out with me with them, is just how they're able to add so much more flavor and texture to their songs and their arrangements. And just, thinking about playing the ukulele in the way that you wouldn't expect. And that's why they are so great, is because they've really embodied the instrument. And I don't know, it's like almost indescribable, like the many things that they have taught me. But I think just more like taking a step back, remaining like always being a student, and just thinking about, how can I transform this into something that's already beautiful, but even more so, and just unexpected. Yeah, kind of that wow factor that they are always able to present when they play. And so, I just always appreciate them taking the time, and even if it's just for like 10 minutes, to be like, hey, well, let's try this, or let's jam, or I'll show them songs that I'm working on or writing, and they're like, why don't you try this time? And it just it unlocks so many little doors in my mind, and it just inspires me and motivates me that much more when I talk with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you talked about chord choices, I was interested now. Is that when you say chord choices, are they using chord substitution? What are they suggesting?
Substitutions, voicings, I think, and this can happen with a lot of people, and I'm still incredibly guilty of it, you know, sticking towards like the top of the neck and being really comfortable with those. You know, I guess, you know, just more like encourage, almost not like risk, but like encourage, like move it up the neck, see how you can flow with it more and really take advantage of, even though we've got a small territory on the neck of a uke, like there's so much that we can do with it. And it's just about unlocking it. And again, that's what makes it so incredible and so like such a wow factor when you watch them play. It's amazing. Cause I mean, that's what really got me, the hook, line, and sinkered me when I first started playing and discovering it. I was like, wow, you can do so much in like this amount of space. Like that's on 4 strings. That's insane. So yeah, I think that they just continue to remind me of, not that I forget, but you know, again, there's that comfortability. They always seem to remind me of how much we can actually do with a little bit of space.
When these ukulele masters do simple things like a turnaround, I know I saw Peter Moon do some turnarounds. You know, it's basically the 2-4-5, 2-5-1. What am I thinking? It's a 2-5-1 all major, which is a famous Hawaiian turnaround. But then he played it up the neck in a completely different voicing. And I was just like, oh, wow, that sounds, I recognize a turnaround, but the way it's played just has so much different flavor, different texture, different, but yet still recognizable.
Totally.
Yeah. And did you do the high sessions at the same time?
No, actually my high sessions, so I've only done it once, and the one time that I did it was actually a few years ago. I was like a little baby. I was like 19.
Wow, and you got to do a
now.
high session?
Yeah, that was a crazy, again, another like bucket list item. And I did get to see John though when I was. He was someone I got to see when I was in Oahu. We went and had lunch, but yeah, high sessions. I did that.
John who?
John with high sessions.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
He plays with Jake.
Yamamoto. Right. Yeah. So for people who aren't familiar with it, the high sessions are like they take the best musicians in Hawaii generally, and they bring them to these awesome, either into their this recording space they have. A lot of times you also go, I think, to Haiku Gardens or somewhere out. It's just beautiful background. I don't know.
Beautiful.
It's like, oh man, I recognize it, but I can't put my finger on it. Anyway, just beautiful scenery, and awesome music. So, I mean, that is quote high honor.
It's very high, absolutely, a very high honor. And that was like I said, I was a little baby. That was very fresh into my career, and that was also again something that was just one of those things that who knows, had I not done that, where would I be? So I mean, we've talked about doing another one. It's been obviously their process and life is just so different with COVID, and I hope one day that I can have the opportunity to do it again, but even just to have the one opportunity in itself was again just another great learning experience. And again, like similar to how I walked in to do the podcast, like I'll never forget when I walked into one of their locations that they shot at, and I was like, oh man, I remember watching like Kalei's Hawaii session here. Like, this is crazy that I'm the one standing on like that like red carpet that they have. And just so cool. Very cool.
I mean, some of the best musicians in Hawaii have played there. That's incredible that you got invited. So I guess what you're saying though is that when you got invited by Andrew, that was not your first time to Hawaii. You'd obviously gone there to record also.
Yeah. I've been lucky
Wow.
to go a few times for a couple different things, which is just always an honor. Yeah,
Right.
always an honor.
And so also people who may not know, the High Sessions is run by a guy named John. I think it's Yamamoto, right? And he was in the same band as Jake Shimabukuro. They had a trio,
Mhm.
and the trio escapes me. Why can't I think of it?
Pure
Um,
heart.
Pure Heart.
Pure
Thank you.
heart. Yeah.
Pure Heart.
Yep.
Yay. Yeah.
Yep.
So now he does this kind of as a, I don't know if it's a side gig or what. I just think it's a great thing,
It's a
and
great thing.
very amazing production that they do. So that was another thing, is
Beautiful.
that it's so nice when you get such high quality
Mhm.
talent to record you. That is incredible.
And they were all such great people. They made it feel very like I was very nervous, but they were just very comforting. I was going through, because I just celebrated 10 years of playing. I was going through like just photos and like what I've been able to accomplish, and I ran across a photo of all of us like together, and I was like, wow, like that, what a great crew of people that was. That was such, they
Wow.
made that such a memorable day.
Wow. Well, that's incredible. So I didn't realize, for some reason I thought, I didn't look at the timestamp. Obviously, I thought it had been done at the same time, because you're in Hawaii. Maybe they recruited you for that too. No. Okay. All right.
Soon. Hopefully soon. Yeah. Yep.
What other things that would you say, career wise, you took away from talking with Calais and Brittany?
I think, especially with Brittany, like, I had the opportunity to hear some of the music that she's been working on, and just we were able to kind of really connect over kind of doing, something even more different than what we're doing, and her new music is so good, and
Really?
she is really taking like some different approaches and kind of like just adding different production and different writing, and it's so new age to, like, I guess is the best way that I can explain it, and without like giving away the secret sauce that she's got. But it's very new age, and it's so good, and it inspires me, because like I totally have always done that, where like on my, more on just like my Instagram, I will plug my ukulele into like distortion pedals or really weird things, and
Right.
kind of turn it into something that's, it's like it's uke, but with that added kind of grit to it, and
Yeah.
do songs in genres that you wouldn't expect a ukulele to produce. So to hear that she was doing that, I was like, man, like that's so cool. Like I've wanted to hear more of this. And so I don't know, like it's inspired, like, again, it's just that much more inspiring for me as I'm working on a new album, and
Great.
there's a lot of new things that I want to try, and things that I've always had in my mind, and I had in my mind for previous projects, but I didn't know if they were allowed, or if I could make them fit somehow. But to hear her new stuff, I'm like, okay, like this is, I'm glad to see this. It makes me really excited to see where it takes the ukulele. I just love seeing all the different directions it's going, and I feel like this is a new path, and so I'm really excited for her stuff, and I'm excited to not be afraid to like integrate that stuff into my new chapter of music.
Awesome. And speaking of your music, what have you released in the past?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just, what are your previous releases?
Yeah. So I have Moments was kind of, I had an album before that, but it was called Unorchestrated Chaos, but it was just something that I did more so in college, and what I feel like is my real debut album was called Moments. And it has, I mean, it's all instrumental, and I had a lot of arrangements with some brass instruments, and I had a lot of arrangements with like cello and like a Rhodes piano, which I love, is my favorite combination, and there will be more of that, because I can't get enough of it.
I love Rhodes pianos, and I hear that the cello is just awesome mixed with the ukulele.
It's the best. It's so beautiful. My friend Dylan from college, he is my guy for cello. He did all my cello on Moments. He did
Awesome.
cello on anything that I've recorded. I had a side EP that had some cello on it, and he recorded that. And he's really fantastic. And we were just talking a couple days ago about some new stuff that I'm working on. So
Very cool.
Excited to get him back on it. And yeah, and then besides that, with Moments, there is a part of me that really loves like pop and hip hop and R&B, and I've always admired producers and their minds and how they work and how they can like create these like very like big songs with all these different sounds and instruments. And I don't know, I just think it takes a very particular ear for that. And I've always appreciated people who can write lyrics really well or sing, or rap or whatever it is. Like those are just all things that I've really admired that aren't necessarily my forte. And I always thought, how cool would it be, since I do instrumental music, if I can get all these great people that I know to flip my songs and tell the stories that I'm telling, but do it in a different musical format with the lyrics to explain exactly kind of what I was trying to portray with my instrumental music. And so I released last year in the pandemic Moments Remixed, and I had I think nine producers, 7 singers, and 7 rappers, where I kind of paired everyone up. I let the producers pick the song, the instrumental that they wanted to flip, and then I kind of just puzzle pieced everyone together that I had, and I was like, here's the story. I don't care, I guess, what you do with it, other than just like, let's try to just portray what I'm trying to say. And they all did an amazing, wonderful job. It sounds really cohesive, but also like each song is so individual, and it really does like it puts lyrics to what I was trying to say instrumentally.
Wow. So you took your Moments CD album, and then you recruited people to kind of do a remix on it to add different instruments and lyrics. Did you play on it, or did you just say you go?
I did not.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to. I was like,
that's pretty brave. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they're all people, most of them are people that I went to school with in Minnesota, and they're so talented. And there's a few other people that, like there was one guy that he was my prom date, in high school. And then,
Nice.
like one guy that I met, in LA. And so like, there's like tons of people that are just like, that were familiar or weren't familiar with the stories. And, it was really fun. It was, I mean, they kept asking like, oh, is this good? I'm like, just do it. Like, I trust you. Like, like I said, I talked through everyone, like what the story was like, and they, I felt like I did a really good job of pairing a singer, the singer, the producer, and the rapper together. And it's so different. And what I loved about the producers is that they didn't drown out the ukulele. They made it a very they were all very like particular in making that the forefront still of the song.
Oh, that is awesome. So they took your basic tracks and then they remixed it literally with their own. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. I sent them all the stems of all the instrumentation, and because they all had different instrumentation. Like I said, some had cello, some didn't, and they all really preserved the nature of the song that it was originally. And so it was cool. Like, it's cool to listen to them side by side. And I mean, I think what's great about instrumental music, it is very open to interpretation, but I do write, based on experiences, and because that's not my forte, I do want to be able to portray those somehow. And I just thought, what a cool way. How different would this be?
Yeah.
And again, I'm also just about doing different stuff with it and showcasing, that a ukulele can fit into a pop song or an R&B song or a hip hop song, and it work really well. So I'm probably gonna do another one like for
Maybe you've got a
for years to
career.
come. It's
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. It's just it's different, and both can exist together and really complement each other really well.
For sure.
And a link to the Bandcamp of the of Moments Remixed is
Nice.
in the show notes.
Hey, yes, check it out. Let me know what your favorite one is. I love hearing. They're all very different. It's hard for me to pick what my favorite one is.
Wow. Well, maybe you have another career too, as like a producer, or someone in the A&R and music industry. I don't know. That's awesome.
It's fun.
Oh, I think you have to sell your soul to be an A&R guy. So
probably, yeah. Hollywood.
By the way, hey Marlowe. By the way, you're rocking the Princess Leia look, pretty awesome. Especially with the headphones on, they look like the buns. It's amazing. And then what you have on, I'm like,
like the little tan shirt. And like the very purpley light. Sorry, the sun went down, so now my light is just like extremely purple right now.
Doing the Star Wars vibe very well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Doug,
you're our only hope. So so I have had the and this shows how old I am. My main email is uke.skywalker@yahoo. So the old people that use Yahoo anymore, but
yeah, I know. I'm just amazed that Yahoo is still around,
still kicking.
Yeah,
right.
It's incredible. But hey,
and you can reach me at my MySpace account.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Marlowe, you're in my top 7 friends now.
Nice.
So was it 7?
I think it was 7. Yeah.
7, yes, indeed. So
and Doug, that doppelganger sitting next to you.
So Dave Brown is out from California, and he's going to be the co-host for the rest of the evening.
Love it.
Yes, and it's yes, indeed.
He is the famous twin that we have talked about so often on our show, and Dave knows that well because he's a listener of the OokTown Podcast. So good to have you on the show, on this show, and it was great to be on your show, or you're both. I don't know whose show was it, Doug?
It's our show.
The Brown Brothers show.
The Brown Brothers show.
Well, and Trent's too.
And the Brown Brothers.
Like the 3 of us.
Brothers.
Yes. So,
sorry, 3.
Yeah, it was a shock. I knew about your twin, but then your younger brother, I was like, who is this guy? He's your brother too. This is incredible.
Well, and in terms of tangentially related to ukulele podcasts that review movies, I think it's one of the best.
I think it's one of the better ones that you're going to find.
Exactly.
Right. Right. I'm not sure if you have any. Now, I don't know if I would really. Now, come on. The only thing I heard was that you use ukes. How many ukes this rates? Is that right?
So you're going to have to watch the series to find the uke.
Okay.
But I think I can give away. Up is already up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Up, as he's walking through his house, there's a ukulele on the mantle.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't look at it.
He doesn't look at it. He never plays it.
He doesn't mention it.
He doesn't even think about it. It may be his wife's. We don't know for sure.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But it rated a 4 ukuleles from Doug Brown because
there you go.
Ukulele
Because he had a ukulele in there. There you go.
But the other element is Doug's parody song at the beginning.
Yeah, so I do a parody song for every movie that we review, and it is of course ukulele related because it's on ukulele.
Because he's playing the ukulele.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, so let's see. We actually haven't gone. You've mentioned a little bit about the effects that you use on your playing sometimes. So what's your rig like? What do you enjoy the most out of your rig?
Yeah, my rig is very small right now. Because I don't know, I love effects pedals, and I love trying so many different combinations and things. But right now, currently, and this one's been pretty consistent for a while now. But my main one is I use a Eventide H9, and it's got like
Wait a minute. Is that the old one, or did they bring out a new version?
I think they brought out a new version recently because I was kind of actually just exploring their website earlier. But yeah, I'm using their original one. I believe it's their original one. But it's got like 100 different effects on it. That the shimmer effect is like one of my favorite ones. I use that one a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Like that one's so cool because you can just, again, going back to making the ukulele sound different. What I like about the shimmer effect is it's got like this reverb, but also has the shine and this kind of shimmer behind it that makes it just sound really beautiful and really big and very wide, and it just resonates, and so it sounds really nice when I'm doing kind of like these like pop ballad covers. So yeah, I didn't really use any effects like that on my previous album on Moment, so I'm going to integrate that more into my new album, just to add some more just textural effects. But there's so many, and there's a lot of like stuttery type of effects, and it's kind of this octave dropper, and very like, then there's like spooky stuff, and very alien. I don't know, like it's just, I forget how much is on there until I start playing with it. And so I use that. And then when I want to get into like my crazy, like distortion, like rock vibe, one of my professors in college, Charles Gare, he works for a company called Zvex in Minnesota. And I had the opportunity to go to their warehouse, and like I had like these giant Marshall stacks behind me, and they just put like 100 pedals in front of me. And he was like, yeah, just go ahead and play. And I played for like 3 hours just playing all these
that would be
pedals.
awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. It was so cool. And so I use his Box of Rocks pedal. I think it's called Box of Rocks. But it's really gritty, and it sounds so good. And I use it in most of the videos that I do have distortion on. I run it through that, and then one other kind of preset through Logic. And yeah, it doesn't look natural on the ukulele because it's just so big and it's so loud, and it just drives really through. So I really like all of their pedals, and then I just use a little ditto looper, a little ditto pedal for a little loop if I want to do it.
Doug, you want me to add that in there? You have a stream, a graphic? Doug Brown? Oh well.
Yeah, I have a picture of the Box of Rocks.
Yes. Yep.
And there will of course be a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Zvex and Charles are awesome.
Wow. So is that a distortion / overdrive, or is it mainly just for distortion, do you think?
Distortion and overdrive. Most of their pedals have both. And all of them are all like, they all have such character. Like I said, I had like 100 of them in front of me, or whatever, how many I had. It was crazy, but they all just sounded individual, because I think a lot of distortion pedals can sometimes have the same kind of characteristics kind of sound. Like they do a really good job of making them all have a very particular character sound to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's I recently did a DIY overdrive pedal. It was actually it's a Tube Screamer clone.
Awesome.
And oh my gosh, it sounds so great. I might just try it out. I just tried it on my guitar through a tube amp, and it was just so creamy and good. So Doug, you're gonna have to finish that distortion pedal.
Oh, I finished it.
Oh, you did? Great.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but I finished it.
All right. Well, if you want to send it over to me, I could look it over, or I bet you there was just some real easy thing to debug in there. But if you ever get that pedal going,
the soldering would be the little thing that is missing out of my distortion pedal that I put together.
But that's the learning part.
Yes.
But yeah, that pedal is great too. So if the tube screamers are great, and those clones and stuff. So I'm excited to hear that you're going to incorporate some of that stuff on your work later on. Now, is that any of that kind of stuff, any of the pedals or anything on the Moments album, or is it going to be for the future? So we're just kind of teasing it forward here, so people are.
Yeah, it's all the future. Yeah, I didn't do any of that in Moments.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I wanted to keep it very true to the natural sound in Moments, and now I just, because like I said, it's really specifically for my Instagram. That's where I just kind of have fun and do little covers, and I really kind of just do literally quite whatever I want to do on it, with a lot of distortion and a lot of different, like that shimmer effect. And people seem to really enjoy that. And, you know, the remix album is kind of testing the waters, like how crazy can I get before people are like, all right, Marlowe, maybe not. But people seem to really enjoy it, and I had a really good reception of it. So this new album I'm really excited for it, because there's a lot of different arrangements that I'm working on, and you'll hear some distortion and you'll hear some of the shimmer. And I was just working on something last night where I'm building kind of a soundscape with just like my vocals and harmonies. So it's not like me like really singing lyrics, but it's more like me creating that kind of like harmonious background to kind of sit behind my uke. So it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be it's very experimental.
Very cool. Now, so you do sing, sounds like. Maybe don't sing lyrics, but you're saying
a little bit. I did release a song under kind of an alter ego, if you will, that I go by Yellow with an E at the end. So so that was just, and that in itself inspired a lot of new uke stuff for me, and writing, because I released a song and I worked on a song that in a way that's really uncomfortable for me as far as like singing and producing and all that. So yeah, I don't know if I'll integrate like the fully like me singing and ukulele together yet, but who knows? There might be room for it in the future. But as of right now, we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see. Yeah, kind of go with the flow.
Well, you gotta. I'm excited to see what happens. We'll be all waiting for that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what the process is you use to maybe both compose and then record. So let's start with the composing part. What are some of the ways you do it? Because it seems like many artists have their own kind of special how they do it. So what is your process?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just like when I'm practicing or I'm noodling, I'll kind of come up with like a riff that ends up usually being kind of the chorus for the song. And I'll sit on that for a long time, and I take little videos with my phone. So I have a whole folder in my phone where it's just song ideas. And a lot of those little like 40, like 20-second, 40-second, like minute clips, sometimes I end up hearing 2 or 3. I'm like, okay, so this is good for a chorus, and I can relate this back to this. And I kind of almost like, I'm a very like puzzle piecer person. But yeah, usually it starts with like a riff that ends up being the chorus, and I kind of build the song around that. But I try not to force my songwriting. Like if I hear the chorus and I don't hear like the verse or anything, I don't want to like force it, because I do write from feelings and experiences, and I want to keep it really organic to that. Which sometimes can work against me, because it does take me a while to write songs when I'm so focused on that. So yeah, all the songs pretty much that are on the new record are songs that I've had for 2 years now. because
Wow.
I've just been working
You're
on
just
them.
collecting them.
Collecting, they evolve, and like I've lived so much life in the last 2 to 3 years, like that the original story, like those songs weren't finished until that part of the story was finished. So yeah, it's very, I tend to puzzle piece things together, and I really sit with it, and yeah, kind of build around that main little riff that I come up with that just comes from
you're in
noodling.
good company. I think there's so many stories of amazing songs that come out of it. I was just watching the Leonard Skinner story, and the Sweet Home Alabama. They just were noodling around, and one of the guitars came in, and then he did the main riff, but it was all because he was inspired by one of the other players just doing a little practice riff.
Hey, Stuart, how did that go again?
No, I'm not gonna.
Oh, come on!
I don't want to
Stuart.
get a takedown notice. Is what I don't. Oh, that no.
So
Waka.
I crewed for Leonard Skinner when they played here in
Really?
Denver a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And they loaded in a 7-foot wide mirror ball, and they did not bring it in until they played Freebird. That it stayed up where you couldn't see it until Freebird, and then it came in, and it was awesome.
That's crazy.
I wonder if that's the same mirror ball, because if you watch the documentary, they have a mirror ball that they shine on that during one of their songs. It might have been Freebird too. I don't know. Yeah, what a amazing. I was always kind of ambivalent, or not ambivalent, but I love Sweet Home Alabama, and I was always like curious. It's like, why do they have the rebel flag? That's not cool, And then they actually told the story about why they have the flag. And if you listen, and this is what always confused me about Sweet Home Alabama, because if you listen to the lyrics, they say, and now Birmingham, they've got the governor, and then they say boo hoo hoo, because they didn't like how racist he was. But then yet, what's with the rebel flag then? But if you watch the documentary, it becomes like, oh, okay, I get it. When they were just starting out, the places they played and were welcomed most was in the South. And then the record company said, oh, well, you're loved in the South, so we're going to, do this as a backdrop. And so that's kind of how it all came about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never seen the documentary. I have to check it out.
Netflix is out there. What is it called? Doug, you can. I'm sure Doug, in a few moments here, he'll mention what it is. But it was a documentary made a couple years ago, and I thought it was.
If I Leave Here Tomorrow, a film about Leonard Skinner on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
And there is a link to that in the show notes.
Love
yes,
that.
it's a very. It's very insightful. I knew the basic story of them, even how they got their name, which is a really interesting story. Anyway, I digress. But here's what's interesting too, is that I mentioned to you, what would be great if you do a ukulele tab of Walk Between Raindrops by Donald Fagen, and like a good student or whatever, Marlowe was like, well, I'm gonna get that together. I'm like, no, I was just kidding. I'm like,
I was like, wow. Hey, I come prepared. Just give me a few. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. So that is one of the songs. If for people out there, it's basically a blues song, because if you listen to the bass line, ding, 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 but then the chords are all just like, oh my gosh, this is an incredible song. So that's where I was like interested, kind of tying back to what you heard from maybe Calais or Brittany about, different chords. And it's like, that's one of the challenges, is that when you listen to a song like that, you go, there's no way I can reproduce what the horns and the keyboards and so on are doing. So how do you approach a song like that if you're going to transcribe that or whatever? I
think, it's a bluesy song, but it's also got like jazz notes to it. I don't know.
Off the wazoo. It was,
it's crazy.
I have a transcription of it, and every time I look at it, my eyes go cross, because it's a G7 minor sharp
Something
9, flat 11,
Yeah.
suspended. I'm like, what?
What? Yeah, no, it's I don't know, like going back to like it's just we have such a small territory to play on and we have 4 strings, so it's like how do you transcribe those things and where you have a guitar that's got such a longer neck with so much more area and more strings, like how do you build those chords to sound as full on your ukulele? And so it all just comes down to voicings, and I think too, like tuning as well. Like Andrew Molina and I were talking about a low G and how that can open a lot of like doors.
Shout out to the low G.
And that's something that I'm also like starting to learn to explore a little bit more. I've always not like been afraid of it, but just always again, it's more like I get comfortable with things, and so I learned on a high G. I'm very comfortable with the high G, and I do hear like low G, and I'm just like, wow, that just sounds really incredible. Like it just adds like a whole new layer. So I think, as far as approaching it, like I think you start, is this going to be a good moment for the high G? Is this going to be a good moment for the low G? Or personal favorite of mine that I've been exploring the last couple of years is a baritone, which is a different tuning, more like more similar to a guitar, but like you got like Benny Chong, who's just like he's like a god tier baritone, like just wicked player, where he really embodies like jazz ukulele. And so I don't know, like as far as chord choices, I think it's just I think it's okay to relate back to like I look at and I'll do this when I play guitar as well. I watch a lot of piano videos and how people will build chords that way. And then I sit there and I look at the neck of my ukulele and I'm like, okay, so if they're going to build it this way and they get this kind of sound or a certain texture or body to it, how can I try to almost replicate that on my ukulele? And it's just kind of, again, puzzling those things together and really making use of the entire neck. Very bottom, very top,
because you can't replicate that. It's just impossible with the note choices you have, unless you're like Benny Chong or Kimo Hussey, who have these incredibly huge, long, I don't know how they do it. It's like they're using both hands, and it's like, oh my god.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Stuart, I think if you look, everybody uses both hands.
Yeah, right.
Although if you take a look at the so Dave and I are getting ready to release our recording of the James Hill did that video on how to play Billie Jean with the 4 different parts all on one ukulele. So we're because we're genetically the same, I do 2 of them, he does 2 of them, and we put it all together. And that should be coming out any day now.
Nice. Really?
Oh my gosh. That was one of like the first videos I saw when I was discovering ukulele was James Hill. Yeah, gosh.
I still get sent that quite often, and every time I get it, the chopstick thing where the fantastic
drums. I know everyone goes, oh Stuart, I just found this guy, it's amazing, he was in like New York, and like Strawberry Fields is where he's playing, and Jake Shimabukuro. We still get that, it's amazing, people still are discovering. It's incredible. For however many years. I mean, how long ago was that James Hill song did he record with Billie Jean? I don't know. It was
so long ago. I actually just showed that to someone like a couple months ago. It had been like years since I seen it, but I showed him that, and I showed him the chopsticks video, which I remember sitting in my room trying to play it with chopsticks and like cymbals and things and trying to like figure out how he was doing. I was like, what? Like, it just doesn't sound the same, but it's so cool.
I know.
So that video, the Billie Jean video, was from 2011.
Wow.
So 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. 10 years ago. Just like our show, Doug.
Wow.
I'm feeling old. Well, so the whole thing. the thing I'm thinking of is like, Marlowe, walk between raindrops, and we'll see if Sarah Mizell could do the vocals on that. I think she would
Ooh.
be awesome.
I would love that. That would be awesome. I will jump on that immediately.
Because she has a great jazz voice.
Amazing.
She's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
And so that'd be a great combination. Have you played with them or met them?
No, I met them right before the pandemic at
Oh, no,
the Los
everything
Angeles. I know right at the. I went, like I said, I went to the Los Angeles Ukulele Festival, and
Awesome.
there I met Brian Tolentino, and I met Craig and Sarah for the first time.
Nice.
All amazing people.
Was Victoria there? Victoria Vox?
Victoria, yeah, who I've met a few times before, so it's always good
Cool.
to catch up with her. And I got to play Craig and Sarah as one of their mini uke fests that they hosted over the pandemic, which what an amazing production. Oh my gosh, both of them
That was great.
were so cool. So when they approached about that was again just like an honor, and it was cool, because everyone is feeling like wanting to play live music and missing like what. That's why ukulele festivals are the best. Like just being able to be together and play together and dance and sing, and to be able to capture that over the internet to thousands of people from all over and be able to all share that moment together is really great. So I was really happy that I had an opportunity to play a few songs, and
very cool.
It was awesome. That was another highlight of just, if there were highlights of the pandemic, that was a highlight of mine for sure.
Well, I think we're going to be able to use what we learned about all of that. I keep saying this, and I really do believe it, that everything that they did with during the pandemic, we can still do. We can just blend it with the live and some of the virtual, because it was really cool seeing people from all over the world participate, right?
So cool. Yeah. And being seeing people from like Michigan festivals, for example, where I'm like seeing like Mighty Uke Day, I'm like, oh my gosh. Or like I have a lot of friends in Australia now where I'm it's crazy. And it's pretty, we live in a really lucky time right now with technology, how we can do this where we have conversations, but like during a pandemic when everything's locked down, we can still host festivals. And I taught my first workshop over Zoom.
Like, you did? Nice.
Yeah, I woke up at like 3 a.m. I did it for this ukulele festival in Australia, Blue Mountains.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I woke up at like 3 a.m. because it was like 7 p.m. their time, and it was funny. I was outside on my balcony at 3 a.m.
Oh, no.
Teaching people how to solo over Zoom. It was awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did you have to do it on the balcony? Was that just the background, or you didn't want to disturb your roommates? I didn't want to
disturb my sleeping roommates because the one, yeah. But it was cool. I mean, it worked.
Wow.
It was good. Yeah.
The things you do, that is awesome.
Yes, I'm glad I got to do it.
And so considerate. That is,
it's awesome.
I think your roommates got to give you some slack. It's like, wait a minute, you're doing an international workshop on ukulele. Come on.
Hey, I sat them down. I gave them all ukes, which they don't play.
Really?
And they were because I'd never done a workshop before, which is something I've always been nervous to do. And it's like, I'm doing this thing over Zoom. I was like, I need you guys to just sit with me for a half hour and let me run it by you. I gave them all
nice.
I gave them all ukes, and they did great, and it went well. And I was like, all right, that's all I need from you guys. I know I can do it now. So yeah, shout out to my roommates for letting me do that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that was a great idea too, to do a dry run with them.
Yeah, it was
excellent.
Good.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can. Have you done anything with the Ukulele Kids Club? They're a great organization, and they do workshops also.
I have not, but I'd like to. Teach my workshop more. I do currently my only one. I'll work on more, but it's a beginner intro to soloing.
Very cool.
So
sign me up.
Hey, let's do it. Yeah, it's not, it sounds intimidating, but it's super. Like I said, I was able to do it to my 3 friends who are in music, but like not, they don't play necessarily the ukulele or stringed instruments, and they all did really well, and they were all able to do like a little ditty by the end of the half hour that I had with them, and I think it's just fun because it's such an intimidating thing, and when I did it for the people over Zoom, I could tell that they were having a good time with it, and
but
pretty much just taking the fear out of it. It is hard, but I think taking the fear out of it, and like I think reminding people you don't have to do all this crazy stuff to make a solo really good. You can play the same note over and over again, and it can still be like a crazy good solo. So that's what I hope people take away from it.
Like Bob Ross says, they're happy accidents.
Happy accidents. It's jazz too. You play a wrong note, it's jazz.
Right. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. Speaking of Michigan, so did you was Gerald Ross there at one of the Mighty Uke days? I can't remember. Anyway, he's a great friend of the podcast too.
I did Mighty Uke Days virtual one over the pandemic as well. And I know he played it, and I'm trying to remember if he was at one of the ones that like actually in person. I want to say he was.
Well, he was. Yeah, he's been at so many of them, and I don't know how much virtual he was not really into the virtual stuff. It seemed like
I saw him do the one set. Yeah, it went. It was good.
It's hard. That's the hard part. You don't get that same feedback, and so you have to work a lot harder with a virtual. I know. I did a workshop for the Ukulele Kids Club, and fortunately, I was just. It was more like I don't want to say a lecture, but it was more of a history lesson of the ukulele. Okay. But still, I had to just focus and just you got to get inspired, and yet you're not there with them where you can get that connection. So that I find it is weird. So hopefully someday we will get through this.
Yeah.
All right. Boy, I think we've gone through most of the things, and I don't know.
Is it time for our review of Six Flags Magic Mountain?
Go for it. And then,
the day was sunny, and as we pulled up to the parking structure, the lady said, "Now, do you want the expensive stuff or do you want to be cheapos?" And we said, "We'd like the cheap parking, please." She's like, "But you're going to have to go out to the dirt lot." And we're like, "We're okay with that." And we drove like 6 miles out, and we could not find the dirt lot. But we had a chance to make fun of everybody as we were walking into the park, and it was really good. We got in there and we rode on the first roller coaster. As you go in, the very first roller coaster, it made me want to barf, and
I passed out.
Dave passed out a little bit. Not just a little bit. Oh, it was
that on the wooden one? Is that that old wooden one?
No, the wooden one is awesome.
Dude, the old wooden ones.
Who's telling this story, Stuart? I thought were we telling this story?
We're telling the story.
I think so. So, but it was a bummer because and it was kind of crowded and hot and everything. And we were walking around, and then we went on the Justice League of America's ride.
Oh, really?
And it was like this weird kind of 1990s. You have a little gun and you try and shoot Lex Luthor, but you can barely see anything because it looks terrible. And it was rough.
Well, and my wife had prepared me because we go to Disneyland a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, lower your expectations.
I know.
Lower.
I know.
Lower than that. And it was not
Marlowe,
working.
what they're trying to tell you is you don't have to go to Six Flags. Who
is telling the story, Stuart?
Sorry.
And so then we go to the post-apocalyptic roller coaster,
and that's the wooden one.
The wooden one, yes. And we walk through the door, and there is throw up on the floor.
Oh, no.
Just a pile
Just-
of puke.
Oh,
And
nice.
a dude with the hat comes by, and Dave
Well,
flags him down.
We went on the ride, and then we got out, and I thought that I would be a good citizen and say, "Hey, fella, the custodian fella, I'm like, hey, there's a pile of puke in the line there," and he's like, "It was in the line?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Good, it's not my job."
Oh,
That was what I was
Oh.
looking for. The day turned around in that moment.
Right
Yikes.
there.
Mm.
After that, we went on the water ride, raft
log
ride, and we're having all of these people cut past us, and I was speaking in German, telling them not to go past us.
Yep.
Because
Nobody messes with the Germans.
yeah, no one messes with the Germans.
The Germans.
And then we got up there, and that ride was fantastic.
Yep.
It
Well,
was
no
super
wonder everyone
fun.
was going around you.
And then we went to the gigantic roller coaster that was featured in National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yep.
And
Hey.
it was
Wow.
terrific. Like really, really great.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really turned around. After the puke, everything was gold.
After the
Yeah,
puke,
pretty much
turn around.
anything after that. Yeah.
And the guy that didn't want to do his job.
And he was energetic about not doing
Not doing
Like, that's not my
About
Pretty
job.
confident.
Nice.
It was fantastic. It was the best of
All right.
times. It was the worst of times.
Oh, wow. You do
But
sound
that
like
is
those.
my review
Well,
of
there you
Six
go.
Flags.
And
Magic Mountain.
how would you compare those rides to like the Avengers in
Just awful.
Yeah.
Just. I mean,
It's
if
like
you
that
got a
pile
chance
of
to go to
puke.
Disneyland, you should do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah.
We'll stick
Well,
with that.
You missed the part where Marlowe mentioned that she did go to Disneyland and
Mm-hmm.
she went to the Star Wars, of course, and the
Amazing.
Avengers.
Yes.
So I
Disneyland,
don't.
right here.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Amazing.
So yeah, you don't have to. Now you know, Marlo. You have gotten
now I know.
the Six Flags Magic Mountain experience vicariously, and
I
you
appreciate
officially-
the review. Yeah.
Right,
I'll
you do not
keep
have
that
to
in
go
mind.
now.
I've
Yep.
lived in Los Angeles for 15 years. It's
Uh-huh.
now 5 minutes from my house, and I've gone once. So
Mm.
Oh,
Right.
and he bought the season pass.
yeah,
Yep.
What?
Because it
You
was
bought
like
a season-
$4 more. It's
Okay, so yeah, so if you go one more time, you've paid for the whole thing. Okay, that's
exactly,
good.
and he can't. Although, okay, you guys ready for a secret that we
Okay.
figured out when we went? So we had to jet home and grab something, and when we came back, they said, "Well, just show your receipt, and they won't
Yeah.
charge you nothing." And so nobody ever needs to ever pay for parking at
if
Magic
you have a
Mountain
receipt,
from
they
anywhere.
don't care. So
The CVS receipt that's 14 miles long, where you need another car to carry it all. They'll take
Yep.
that too,
Amazing.
because
Oh, wow.
it's not my job to read
not
it.
my
Right.
job to read it.
The parking attendant, that's what they
I'm
say,
not
right?
security.
That's really great to know. We have quality employees all around us at Magic Mountain. Okay.
But it was, and we talked about you a bunch, Stuart, because we knew that you were such a fan of the Magic Mountain, and yeah, that whole day, everybody was like, "And who is this?" And every time they said, "Hey, can you guys be quiet? And what's your name?" We said, "My name is Stuart Yoshida.
Yeah.
I am the host of the
No.
OokTown Podcast."
And
I'm
then I
actually-
said, "My name is Stuart Yoshida, and I'm the host of the OokTown Podcast."
I'm still embarrassed about that, what we did at Magic Mountain. So, although at the-
Do tell.
I don't think
I
there's
think I already
really
told you
anything you
that.
could do in
Didn't I
Magic
tell you that
Mountain you
story?
should be-
Anyway, some other
Yeah.
time.
Did you
Well,
Lower standards? Lower standards.
Yeah.
Lowest standard.
Now, we had fun when I was in college and we went there, and it was fine. It was fine. We did
It was fine. That's what
No
I'm
one got
looking for.
arrested.
When I go
Yeah.
out to go to a amusement park, what I look
Right.
for is fine.
Yes. We did
Lower
have
'em?
fun.
Lower.
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 Like
That's
if you're watching movie hopping with the Brown brothers, your standards lower, a little bit lower than that, lower than that. Yeah. But we do talk a lot about ukuleles.
Very good. Promote that.
A lot,
Keep
maybe
promoting.
not a lot about ukuleles, but we talk about movies a lot, and
Yes.
a little bit about ukuleles.
That
and
was
a lot
fun.
about Marvel.
Yeah, a lot about Marvel.
Yeah,
We
no,
get
it was fun
distracted.
talking to you about. See, wait, you were talking about. Okay, so you just brought me in on an off day, so we could talk about Batman. Was that like how
Well,
was your on
so
seconds?
we were watching the Hollywood Reporter's Top 100
Yeah,
movies. And
Yeah.
so the closest thing to Marvel was The Dark Knight. So that's how you got pulled into that.
I don't know. I would say Wonder Woman, and actually, you know,
Yeah,
as far
but
as
that's not on the list.
That's not on the list.
There's a
Right,
list.
right.
There is a list of movies that we're watching.
all right, so
and
And a lot of
Marlo,
them we don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Marlo MCU or DCEU?
Oh,
Listen, I have to say Marvel all the way.
All
but
right,
Team Cap.
but
Team
no,
Cap,
I'm not
Iron
Team
Man.
Cap. I'm Team Iron Man all the way.
Ooh,
Yes.
well, there you-
Now I will say
Ooh.
the new Suicide Squad,
yeah, I haven't seen that.
amazing. It's
Oh,
gory,
really?
but like awesome movie. It was
Really?
like one of
Has that
you
come
don't
out?
like the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the new one. I thought it was one of the best movies that came out this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
I
really
watched
good.
the first one and it
The,
started.
the first one was not great.
It
But
was
the
so
second
bad.
one, it was so bad. The second one I thought was so much better. But yes, Marvel, like Infinity War, Endgame, like those
Oh, yeah.
are crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, just the whole way they brought in, you know, from 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, they brought it all forward. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Like back
Same.
when the OokTown podcast started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible, Doug? Just around the time we started the OokTown podcast was the first Iron Man, and wow. And full circle with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
And
See,
the Hulk.
And the Hulk. See,
Oh.
I'm Team Doctor Strange. So
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
okay with that.
We love Doctor
Okay.
Strange. Yeah.
Doctor Strange is good. And you know, Black Widow, love Scarlett Johansson. However, I don't know. I haven't seen the Black Widow movie. I don't know. Does anyone? What does people think?
you
I
haven't
was
seen
bummed.
it, but you're gonna give a review on it now?
No, I was asking. You know.
Oh, okay.
I was bummed about it. I
That's what I
expected
heard.
expected more from it. I did. I was a
bummer.
little bummed. Yeah. But I mean, it was good, but it was yeah.
I
don't
think
know.
So, I
It's
guess-
no Suicide Squad 2.
Listen, it was no Suicide Squad 2. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, so I think Wonder Woman is still the best female-led superhero movie, and I was thinking
It was a victim
Yeah.
of circumstance because, like, it got released like 8 times. Where it's like next week,
I
Black
know.
Widow. Well,
I know.
no,
Yeah.
not next week. How about next month?
That's
Next
what-
I
year?
know.
But-
Well, and
Yeah.
then they released it both in the theaters and on whatever
In your house.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
You know, Stuart, I think you're forgetting a little superhero I like to call Mary Poppins. Because and that movie has a ukulele in it. So, or did it? Okay. Well, you know, it might have a ukulele in it. We're not quite
But
sure.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid has,
has a ukulele in it.
which was a surprise.
Yes.
And it
Oh,
got
really?
extra use at the end
Oh.
because we did not particularly like it, but it
Really?
had a ukulele in it.
It had a ukulele in it,
And
and we've been watching all of
There you
these
go.
movies that don't have ukuleles in it. And
You
all
didn't
of a
like
sudden-
Butch Cassidy? Oh wow, that was one
I
of
have
my
more
favorites.
like I like the Jimmy Stewart westerns,
Oh, okay.
like Liberty Valance and
Hmm. All right. Well, so but Suicide Squad, the new one, sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks for the. I'm actually looking forward to. I know this is not. We've been talking about other things other than ukulele.
Really? With Doug around on the OokTown podcast?
I know.
Like it's in the name, Stuart. We should talk about ukuleles.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
should
Well,
really
we
try
did.
to
We
talk
did.
about
I think
ukuleles.
Marlowe did a outstanding job for us. So I'm really glad that she was on the show. But I am looking forward to seeing Dune also. So I'm really jazzed about
Dune
that.
looks really good. I think
So,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we'll all touch base after we watch Dune and see. Did you read the book, Marlowe, or are you just gonna go in there cold? And I think you can do that. I heard say that they do a really good job of exposition.
I think I'm gonna go in cold. I'll be honest. I am not a huge reader. I try to be. I really try to be. But it's just something that I don't. It's just not my cup of tea.
No worries.
I love movies. Love movies.
No worries, because Dune is also very a difficult, maybe a little dense is a way to look at it. So yeah.
Hey, who are you calling dense?
All right. Well, we were gonna, if you're still willing and wanting to do it, we would love to hear you play, Marlowe. But this is we've gone through a lot of territory.
No worries. I can. I'll play. I'm actually gonna play on my Ko-Aloha.
Yay!
And I'll play a little song. It's gonna be off the new album.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, it's a little acoustic, little sneak peek of it.
Internet, we got a sneak peek for you.
Yeah.
Exclusive on the OokTown Podcast.
Yeah, yes. I'm really excited for this one. This is the first one that I recorded in the studio to start, to kick off the project. So it's called Stars in Her Eyes, which is, it's cool. It's just kind of encompassing. It's going to kind of encompass that whole story that I'm going to try to tell with this album. And just kind of like my journey from, Michigan to LA and what LA has offered me, and just kind of also trying to capture the excitement of trying to capture the excitement that I had when I first discovered the ukulele, and how it changed my entire world, and 10 years later, kind of.
Wow. So Stars in Her Eyes?
Stars in Her Eyes, yep.
Wow. Okay, so OokTown Podcast presents Marlowe with an original, Stars in Her Eyes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Go for it. awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you.
I love the chord voicing. So maybe you took some inspiration from what they said. That was I love the stretches you did, and that gives it such a cool sound. Nice.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
ukulele.
Yes.
All right.
Same. Yes, yeah, thank you.
And it's very lyrical. I could almost hear lyrics to that. So that would be
See
I
a
could
little remix maybe in the future.
maybe
Who
I
knows?
mean easily. Really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So great. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you back on the show.
Oh, it was great.
I'm glad your power came back.
Yes. Oh my gosh, same. And I'm glad that it stayed for the entire
Yeah,
episode. I
no
was so
kidding.
afraid it was going to cut out halfway through.
What is
So,
going on? Is it like there's a heat wave or something, or I don't know?
Probably. It's hot in LA right now.
Is it?
So,
Oh, wow. All
Yeah.
right.
See,
It's nice and cool
it's
here.
nice and cool
Yeah, it
out here
is.
in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So say hello to everyone out there in the Los Angeles. Are you in? No, you're in. Are you in OC actually, or you're actually in Los Angeles?
I'm in Koreatown. I'm right outside downtown LA. Yep.
And
Yep.
J-Town has a great ukulele shop. And McCabe's.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh yes, McCabe's. I went to McCabe's like right again before the pandemic. But yeah,
Oh,
I did
yeah.
a little thing at McCabe's. Yeah. Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
they're
great.
great.
Well, good
Yeah.
luck, and so great to hear you. Tell us when your next album is out. We would love to. Oh, and is vinyl still kind of a big thing? I noticed that a lot more artists are releasing on vinyl. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
I think this next, I've thought about it. I did a Kickstarter for my last album, and one of the kind of tiers was you got a vinyl record.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
that is
think
very
I'll bring
cool.
that back, but I also think that I'm just going to bring that back for when I release, just for like merch and stuff. Cause this
Yeah.
album it's really for me, it's a very nostalgic album. It's the aesthetic is going to be very nostalgic. You're probably going to see a
Nice.
lot of baby photos and videos of me like
Wow.
discovering music for the first time, because again, that song is trying to capture the essence of that, and vinyl's very nostalgic, so I think this record is going to call for a lot of
Nice.
nostalgic vibes. So yeah,
Awesome.
stay tuned. I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I'd love to share it and chat about it, because I'm
All right.
really excited.
Well, we're looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah.
It's so great to have you back,
Yes.
Marlowe. Wonderful talking with you. Great to hear all that you've been doing, and just continued. Anything else? Do you have like a Patreon or Instagram, whatever you want? Send us the links.
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
send the links. I got my website, marlowe-official.com, which has links within that to everything, but you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at Marlowe Ofish, OFFIC. And that's where I'm going to kind of keep everyone up to date on what's to come. There's lots coming, and
Very cool.
and very
And
soon.
both of those, the Instagram and your official one, are both in the show notes already.
Yeah, awesome, sweet,
Cool.
cool.
All right. So as we do on every show, when I'm going to count to 3 and we'll all say aloha. And we even have another backing vocalist here with Dave Brown. So good to have him on. Yay.
Awesome.
Thanks
Well,
for
thank
joining
you
us.
guys again for having me back on and for chatting. I always have a good time.
Anytime. Yeah, we love having you on the show. All right, folks, here we go. On 3, let's all say aloha. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Aloha, everyone. All right, thanks.
That was super fun. Thank you so much. And see y'all later.
Bye.
We'll see ya.
Awesome. Thank you guys
Thanks.
so much. I'm
You're
so glad we were
welcome.
able to make it happen. I'll keep you guys updated on the album. Like I said, I'd love to come back and chat.
You bet. All right,
Awesome.
take care.
Cool. Have a good night, Stuart. Bye.
You too. Bye.